Alrighty, Chumley, second last match, and he is up against Yugi Muto in his Duelist Kingdom run. So it's been a good series so far. Can Chum knock off the anime champion? And in the last video, we were talking a lot about Final Fantasy minigames, and you know there's a minigame in Final Fantasy 1. You have to press select like 50 times or something on the home screen, and you get this like minigame. You used to be able to win 100 gil. I don't think the remake has the 100 gil reward. You just don't get anything. I think you might get a trophy, like a PlayStation trophy for it. Okay. This one's underway. Yugi has gone first. He's gone with a defense and a face down. Chum's got a good hand, so he should... With that hand, as long as Chum doesn't get reckless, he should be able to start to overpower Yugi fairly early. Alright, the last comment I was getting to in the last video was Katomi758 with, I grew up with shows like Fairly Odd Parents, Ned's Declassified, Drake and Josh, and says the prime of shows in my opinion. Schneider's Bakery, obviously we all know about the controversy now with the documentaries and stuff that came out, but Ned's Declassified, Drake and Josh, Zoe 101 as well, iCarly was really good. Drake and Josh I reckon was the best out of all of them. Even Sam and Cat, I didn't mind Sam and Cat, and Victorious as well. Victorious is really good. Those shows, I didn't watch some of the earlier ones than that because I didn't actually have Nickelodeon at that stage. What was the name of the shows? The really, really early Dan Schneider ones. But yeah, those two, those used to be my, those are my teenage years, my good teenage years of, particularly Zoe 101. Zoe 101 I think was the first one that I saw of Dan Schneider's, and then I found Drake and Josh. Drake and Josh, that is... Zoe 101's got that like special place because it's like the first one I really watched. But Drake and Josh just came along and that was just legendary. As Tree Otter is destroyed by Celtic Guardian after Yugi got a combo with the Spellbinding Circle. Oh, Chum's just drawn Vampiric Koala. Again, very good draw for Chum. We the Free Production says, I would say there's a limit to where we get snow in America, but it snowed on the border with Florida, so pretty far south this year. That's a good point as well. I would say that the northern parts of America would get more snow than the south because you're closer to Canada, the colder places, and I guess the equator as well is a warmer part, so the south of the US is closer to the equator, as it would imply. But if you got it in Florida, that's like bottom right hand side, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, that is quite far south. I would say that Texas probably doesn't get a lot of snow, and I'd say that Vegas, California probably don't get a lot of snow either. But I'm not a environmental expert on the climate of the US, but I know that it does get a lot colder there than it does where I am. Even again today, it's like, who was it that said that they had I should be watching this match somewhat as well. Vampiric Koala in for the attack on Giant Soldier of Stone. It was Sukowski that said negative 21 degrees Celsius in Boston, Massachusetts. That's crazy. Like right now, I think it was another like 38 degrees Celsius day in Perth, Western Australia. It's just uncomfortably warm and it's really humid here as well. BC Legnese says, my stuffed animal supplier told me a Cyber End Dragon plush would be too difficult to make. Do you think they'd say the same thing about Black Skull Dragon? I would say so. And so does Crimson Maelstrom, also says most likely. You could make a plush, but it probably just wouldn't look right. There's too many intricate details in a lot of these Yu-Gi-Oh monsters to really pull a plush off. That's why I think Pokemon are a lot more common, because Pokemon's like monster art is a lot more basic. Like it's pretty easy to make a plush of Pokemon, especially a Voltorb. A Voltorb would be pretty easy. I've got a plush of a Charizard, and that looks alright, but you might be able to do one of a Blue Eyes White Dragon, but it might look a little bit more like a Blue Eyes Toon Dragon, if that makes sense. I've got a plush of a Gengar as well. I think that's why Pokemon do plush toys so much more, because their designs are a lot easier to do for that kind of craft. But no, Black Skull Dragon, I think Black Skull Dragon would be way too... There's too many intricate details on him. What plush could... You could do a plush of Big Koala. That'd work. And Vampiric Koala too. You'd probably do plush of all of Chumley's monsters, to be honest. Moonwolfie says, Bakura's deck with Final Countdown, Ectoplasman, Destiny Board and Fiend Sanctuary can be tricky, so Jaden better not go all in too quick. Destiny Board and Final Countdown can make the opponent feel the need to go all in, because it's the time limit that those cards add. The Dark Door is always to work around an overcommitting opponent. For shows, I was born in the late 1980s, so I grew up on classic 70s and 80s cartoons. Flintstones, we've seen the first win, and it was from Chum. He completely overpowered Yugi in that first match. In very Duelist Kingdom fashion, though, it's easy to follow along with it. So, 70s and 80s cartoons, Flintstones, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, Jetsons. You know, the first Scooby-Doo episode came out in 1966. Was it 64 or 66? I think it was 66. Same with Tom and Jerry. They were in the 60s as well. It's hard to believe that those shows are that old. Same with Wacky Races. Did anyone remember Wacky Races? That was a really good cartoon as well. But also says Jetsons, Johnny Quest, Looney Tunes. Oh, there's Tom and Jerry as well. He-Man, Thundercats, Voltron, Speed Racer. Along with the 90s and 2000s cartoon anime Rugrats, Rocket Power, Wild Thornberrys, Real Monsters, Powerpuff Girls, Hey Arnold, Doug, Recess, Animaniacs, Batman, the animated series, Batman X Beyond, the animated series Gargoyles. I don't remember that one. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Spider-Man, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Outlaw Star, Samurai Troopers, Ronin Warriors, Cowboy Bebop, various Gundam series. Many of these are now on various streaming services, or I have them on DVD. I do too. I have a lot of DVD collections and stuff, but oh man, that makes me think the amount of money I did spend on them all with the streaming services we have today. But DVDs do give me that sense of nostalgia as well. I've got like seasons 1 to 20 of The Simpsons. I got a lot of Star Wars, box set of Air Crash Investigation as well. I've got all of Futurama, the original Yu-Gi-Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh GX, Dragon Ball Z, GT, and all of Super on DVD as well. I got Pokemon seasons like 1 to 21 or something, and a bunch of the movies as well. I got a lot of Disney DVDs as well. And same with all those 90s cartoons. I do have them on DVD as well. But yeah, I do stop and think, wow, if I knew that streaming services were going to be the norm of today, I may not have bought them. But back in those days, DVDs, man, they were the thing. They were basically, you had these streaming services before it was a thing when you had DVDs. Octavia Hirschberg says, Moki Moki vs. Duelist Kingdom. And Crimson Maelstrom says that could actually work. It actually could. Moki Mokis aren't that powerful. That is actually a good idea for a series, as Yugi has just pulled a Swords of Revealing Light. He has been getting absolutely hammered in this match. He started off with Horn of the Unicorn, and he's been using it to buffer his monsters, but Horn of the Unicorn goes to the top of the deck when it's destroyed, so... Oh, there goes Tree Otter. Yugi is trying his best to fight back here. He's got 3 turns to kind of redraw a hand. And Octavia Hirschberg says, I think Duel Masters is on Crunchyroll. I rewatched it in the last year. I think it was Crunchyroll. And Steve DS says, Venom Monsters, Thelonious Viper from GX is the duelist to look up to. He had a whole venomous deck that took Jaden for a hell of a loop. I do not remember that episode. I will have to... Like I've said, I really got to rewatch GX. Cascade Hairstone says, you would think that the Millennium Necklace, Ishizu would win all her duels. Too bad, lol. That was for Ishizu and Rex. That was actually a decent match as well. And Michael Page 2507 says, Doug was a good cartoon as well. I know of the cartoon, but I have never seen Doug. Another thing I used to watch a lot, and I will admit I used to watch this as a teenager as well. I don't know what it is about the show, it just appeals to me for some reason, and that is Lazy Town. Does anyone remember Lazy Town with pink-haired Stephanie and Sporticus doing all the flips? And the weird puppet, all the weird puppets as like the inhabitants, like the 6 inhabitants of the town. I don't know, Lazy Town was, I don't know why that show appealed to me so much. It's an absolutely cooked show, but it's a fun show to watch. It's like Pingu. Like, everyone loves Pingu because it's just so cooked. Like, classic Pingu. Alright, Vampiric Koala to the field. Yugi may be running out of options here. Everything is in defense mode. Tell you what though, we've seen all these classic 4-star monsters, even though Silverfang's 3 stars, but we've seen Silverfang, we've seen Celtic Guardian. Yeah, I like Yugi's basic 4-star monsters. You know, they're like the original bros. And Amamiya Casual says, 104 degrees humid is death, lol. Yeah, it's not comfortable, I'll tell you that. I have a fan constantly going on high, and without that fan, because I don't have air conditioning at home either. We're planning to move soon, so there's really no point getting an air conditioner if we're not going to use it. Next house we move into, we might get air conditioning, but... Alright, Vampiric Koala under attack by Giant Soldier of Stone. Chumley flips out another classic Yugi monster, Giant Soldier of Stone. But that may be all she wrote. What are Yugi's classic monsters that are 4 stars? Beaver Warrior and Griffor are up there as well. Celtic Guardian, Winged Dragon, Guardian of the Fortress. As well, Giant Soldier of Stone. Feral Imp with Horn of the Unicorn and Horn Imp as well. That's another one. Blackland Fire Dragon he used in his very first match with Joey, but we never saw it again. Well, this one could be over. Yugi does have a face-down card, and it looks like he has noticed it, so he's kept Des Kangaroo in hand, which is smart, but it wasn't a Mirror Force. And Chumley has picked this one up 2-0 in pretty easy fashion. He's got one more match, and that is against his guy Pegasus. And that'll be on Monday. Hopefully it's cooler on Monday as well. So we've got Jaden taking on Mako coming up as well, which should be a good match on paper, but we will see. Thanks everybody for tuning in, wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, take care, farewell.